Hey everybody and hello humans. This is Notarobot's DC comic review show. Focusing completely on future state and related comics for the duration of the event, this week we are covering Shazam, Nightwing, Catwoman, Immortal Wonder Woman, the next Batman, and Superman Worlds at War. You'll be able to catch mini episodes covering additional DC titles and comic publishers with Notarobot Comic Quick Bites. Those are only going to be available to our Patreon community at first, and they get access to all of our bonus content starting out for just $1 a month at patreon.com/notarobotpodcasts. My name is Josh, and as always, helping me bring this podcast to you are my co-hosts, Jared.
Victory is mandatory.
And Reed.
Cowabunga, my dudes.
We summarize, analyze, and editorialize every issue we cover and strive to keep it all about the content with no publisher influence. We're also on Twitter at Not a Robot Show. Reed is at PGH_Reed, and Jared is at HoneyBadger_Bot. And of course, you can send in show mail to notarobotpodcasts@gmail.com. The next part is dedicated to those that support us with their hard-earned money, but that's not the only way that you can. Like, subscribe, download, and share our episodes as much as possible because nothing helps out quite as much as that. Now is the time we say a gigantic thank you to the people who help us support the podcast. They subscribe to our Patreon, as I mentioned before, for as low as $1 a month.
That's great.
They make sure we keep bringing you more and better content. This is the Not a Robot Anti-Beatbot Must Be a Human Shout Out and Roll Call. And this shout out goes to our humans: Weird Science Jim, Blue Mondays, Hollister, Torpedo Face, and Rotch Crockett. A big huge salute to all of you and an even bigger thank you. So what are you waiting for? Sign up now and show us you just might be a human after all and get a shout out on the Not a Robot Anti-Beatbot Must Be a Human Roll Call.
Yeah, guys.
So how's everybody doing this week, guys?
Oh, pretty good, man. Pretty good. Just upgraded. Got a new chair. Today it's less squeaky, much more comfortable. Got some lumbar support. Having a lot of fun with that.
Heck yeah.
The things you get excited about as an adult. New chair,
saying,
woo!
Right? I was excited the grocery store had my flavor of yogurt in stock the other day, so I mean, I totally get it.
You gotta get them necessities.
Symbol of being old.
Oh, buddy, let me tell you. How's things going in your neck of the woods, Jared?
Another day trying to take over the world.
So, business as usual then?
Yes, of course.
All right.
Guys, my dog Tails, he's having a great day. He had his favorite wet food today that I mix in for dinner. He loves it, the prime rib, his very favorite from Aldi. But the problem was he scarfed it down a little bit too fast because he was very enthusiastic about it. And then barfed it up just before we started recording. And I well, don't worry, because dogs make the best out of any situation. He's currently enjoying his second helping of prime rib right off the carpet. Bone apple teeth.
I think he did that on purpose.
He just loved it so much, had to have it twice.
Exactly. Technically, it's 3 times, really. Just once in reverse.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
Nobody can hear Jared's face, but it looks really loud.
Insert dry heaving noises right there.
I heard that. All right, dog puke aside, everybody. Let's go ahead and get into the books, shall we? The first book, priced at $3.99, finds the hero of the rock in between a rock and a hard place in Future State Shazam #1. Written by Tim Sheridan with art by Eduardo Pensica, Julio Ferreira, and Marcelo Malo. Letters by Rob Lee with Bernard Chang and Mialo on that cover. Reed, what is going on with Shazam?
Great question. Great question. I did the review on this one, and it's still a great question. But this latest entry into the increasing number of future state titles takes place years after what's being called the final battle of Titan's Island. Earth's mightiest mortal now leads a small team of heroes who are struggling with limited resources and a sense that nothing has really been the same since the incident. So we've got this new team. There's a bunch of cool new friends here. I don't know all of them. They're all kind of new to me, but I really like their look. Miss Martian seems really grumpy. I'm into that. She also has red shoes. Big fan.
Yeah, Miss Martian has been around before, mostly in the Young Justice cartoons where she's a lead character.
Right.
But she's always been a big fan favorite.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
She's
good to
snarky,
see a
good
couple.
personality.
Now, let me ask you guys this before we get going on. I couldn't find anything. Is the new character who looks like the blank from the Dick Tracy? Check that out on Patreon. You can spend $1
Yes.
and hear that. It's coming up. Who is that? Is that a character?
It's the question.
That's the question.
But it's not. It's like Rorschach. It's the question,
handed
but
down.
it's not. At least as far as I know, who the hell knows that daffy bastard?
At first, it was Vic Sage, as far as we know. It was Vic Sage, and then it was Renee Montoya. But this question, we don't know the identity of yet.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense because they say Vic Sage wouldn't do that, and he was like, "Yeah, I sure did." And then they mentioned that Montoya is missing as well. But that's not the only thing that's amiss. Everyone can sense on the team that things are not quite right, but no one is able or maybe willing to figure out exactly what that is. Apparently, Shazam hasn't spoken with his family or any other super teams for months, and he's not acting himself.
Kind of going rogue, handling things in a very un-Billy kind of way.
Mm-hmm. We get a mention that they say that he hasn't reverted to. No one has seen him revert to Billy since the incident, and he is acting a little bit out of character. The problem is these guys are really strapped, and they don't have time to kind of dwell on these things as crises keep popping up everywhere. The most recent one is a jailbreak where Giganta and Robot Man are breaking the Creeper out. In a kind of a little fun prison break scene, lady gets big and gets to squash a couple guys. I always like to see that kind of stuff. But the good guys show up, have a little standoff. It's pretty boilerplate stuff until we get to the end when we find out somebody done killed that Creeper.
Oh no!
Yeah. The team gets even more suspicious as Shazam, aka Don't Call Me Billy, attempts to put an end to any investigation. Then we get a scene of Shazam going to like a safe house location and apparently battling to the death Johnny Thunder.
Yeah, which, wow, I did not see that coming.
Now, I was not very familiar with that character of Johnny Thunder until I read this issue, and then I did my homework because I looked this dude. Well, I saw that he had lightning eyebrows, and I was fucking in.
Right? Of course, that's what would sell it for somebody who is such a big fan of Batman Beyond just because of mask lips.
Right, exactly. That's the same kind of stuff, but there's not much else we know obviously there's something going on with Billy, and then we get to see a little quick cut where Shazam went to hell and struck a deal with Nekron to split him in twain into Billy and Shazam, because Billy is going to stay and guard the Rock of Eternity, and Shazam is going to go out and be a superhero. And
I have to say that I've never been a superhero before, myself, but I would think that making a deal with anybody that's known as the Lord of the Dead in anything that looks like a realm of the dead is probably a bad idea. Billy, come on, you know better.
That's page 1 stuff.
yeah. Well, you have that. So, speaking of, the next episode is he made a deal, and next time the devil is coming due. Yeah, and it has a predictable tropes. I mean, you've split Shazam from Billy on the cellular level. Did I do that joke already?
Nice.
Not yet.
No.
Okay.
Nice.
I thought I did that one, but he split him on the cellular level. So Billy's all the innocence and good, and Shazam is all the power and like tough guy stuff. And obviously, it's gonna go a little off the tracks. The very ending, it looks like we're about to have a big confrontation. I guess we're gonna have a team fight Shazam, but that'll have to wait until next time. Kind of in summation, this issue, it's got a lot. It's like all the other Future State. These are great ideas, and I am on board for almost all these storylines. The only problem is some of them don't really meet the standard of the ideas or the pitch, and I think a lot of them are constrained by the time frame. I think this story could have been great to spell out over 6 issues, 7 issues, but like you said, we're going to have 2. And I think either the stories need to be condensed in this case or extremely fleshed out, because a lot of this stuff let my head spinning. And I mean, I was doing the review on this one, so I went to Wikipedia, or, I went to a bunch of wikis to try to see what the hell was going on. And I'm no dummy. I know how to read comic books that I don't even have any knowledge of for the most part.
Right.
But this one, I just kept thinking, what the hell am I missing?
Have you ever seen Supernatural?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a big Supernatural fan.
When Sam lost his soul, that's the way it explains what happened to Shazam.
Yeah, that's kind of a trope that pops up a lot. And I mean, it's a cool idea. I would have liked it to be that's the whole arc, but this, it doesn't get enough time. So this one for me, actually, I'm giving it a 6.5 out of 10. The art is amazing. I love it. Even the static pages where nothing's going on are wonderful to look at, but it either needs to cut out some of this stuff or give me more pages.
I get that. Jared, what did you give it?
Well, it had my main man question in there, and hell yeah, because I absolutely love that daffy bastard. It had the whole supernatural soul separated vibe, and I'm a fan of the show, so it felt like when Sam lost his soul.
Fan.
And I don't remember where, but there's writers from the show that's writing during Future State. I can't recall where.
Ooh, that's exciting.
It is.
That was
it wouldn't be the first time Mick G's written comics, but I don't think that would be.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Get out of here.
No, I'm for real. Mick G's got his fingers in a lot of pies.
Sure.
Some of them are a little weird, but
like his directorial career.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I got excited because they brought Creeper in, but I was wondering what all they were going to do with him because, okay, they're talking about someone specific. It's going to be something really big. Nope, he dies. So,
yeah. Poor Creeper.
Just fine.
Tom Taylor did it to him. Now Future State. He can't catch a break. He's
one scary looking Kermit the Frog. But I'm going to have to give
This is for the real DC fans out there. Tree lobsters for life.
I'm going to have to give it 7.5 dead creepers out of 10. The art carried it along quite a bit.
Yeah, it definitely did. But it can only go so far. The story isn't bad. It feels like something's missing. It feels like something's off. The art really, really was great. It's just a trope that we've seen a whole lot. Even though we haven't seen it with Shazam before, it's something we've seen a whole lot of. And unfortunately, something like that, I think Reed is right. We need more time to flesh out. There's got to be more story to it than just, hey, they were separated. I do think it's interesting that Shazam without Billy acts a whole lot more like Black Adam, though.
But what are his initials stand for? Which one of those Greek gods? All were assholes. So every time they're in the comic book, they're all assholes. When he's got the innocence of Billy inside of him,
he's
got the best qualities. When he doesn't, maybe he's a dickhead like they're all like his namesake.
That's likely why they are so strict about the rules of who those powers are supposed to go to.
Exactly.
Maybe next time they should have someone other than the wizard pick, because he doesn't have the greatest record. I'm just saying.
Well, yeah. Well, it's just part of it. Once you get a taste of that quick as mercury business, it goes to the head.
Yeah, women don't like that, man.
Well, regardless, this is definitely not the Shazam we are used to seeing around. Someone else has lost a little joy in their step, too. This time, it's because their dad is dead. Priced at $3.99 and written by Andrew Constant, with art brought to us by Nicholas Scott, a fan favorite artist of this character, and Ivan Placencia on colors, lettering by Wes Abbott with a cover from Yasmin Putri. Next up is Future State Nightwing #1. Jared, take us through it.
Well, I want to start off with the cover. I think it's a brilliant use of some of the ink. It's darkness, where the various use of dark grays and blacks kind of goes along with the whole motif of the entire issue. Like, it starts out with the spotlight on Gotham, where it looks like one of the magistrate's droids are coming towards a couple, and Nightwing's here to save the day.
Mm-hmm. As Nightwing tends to do.
But it seems to be all part of their plan because little dialogue boxes pop up saying that it's all going according to plan. And the amount of dialogue boxes, and when the frames are really zoomed in, so it's a really detailed look of his hand. I don't give a rat's. I want to see Nightwing. I don't want to see, his freaking glove. Who the hell cares? It seems like a very lazy way to be able to pass phases or fill another panel in. Well, Nightwing easily defeats the box because he's, as Josh said, son of the Bat. Not biologically, but hey, not all blood makes family, not all family's blood.
Exactly.
The couple seems extremely calm. That sets Nightwing on edge because, well, if you just got attacked or anything like that, you're panicking, you're breathing hard. He picks up on it because he is the first ward of the DC's greatest detective.
It's a trap!
You got to do the face. You have to make the face, or the lips don't get there.
There you go.
I don't have the screen print to do that. Okay, well, the couple turns out to be an augmented dude and some crazy bra with knives. It didn't really go into what who they were or anything. It didn't really matter because Nightwing took them down with ease. Next thing you know, Nightwing's flinging around because, hey, this is a trap and that was the bait, and someone's got to be pulling the strings. So he quickly finds a sniper because, Gotham's got so many skyscrapers and so many different vantage points, but, he's Nightwing. So he quickly finds the sharpshooter, and Nightwing starts talking to him a little darker than what we used to seeing Nightwing. I'm using Nightwing now because he's not yet Dickwing. Dickwing is when he's got on the Deathstroke mask. And you see the slow progression. Yeah, you see that slow progression.
We're getting there.
That's not the playfulness that Nightwing generally ends up having. He's coming across as a bit of a hard ass.
Even in the comics prior to Future State, we have started to see Nightwing kind of take a Batman-like approach to his relationships, or at least those beginning footsteps. The only difference, the only exception to that is the fact that he's starting the Titans Academy. But he is definitely stepping back on his relationships and becoming a little bit more solo.
He breaks this guy's femur as kind of like a goof, and that's like the worst bone to break. And he just is like, hey, did you ever have a broken femur? It sucks. Here, have one. And it breaks this guy's leg. Like, come on.
He was walking away, and the guy said he's overcompensating because he doesn't have his Bat Daddy around anymore. And to
maybe a
Dick
sore
Grayson,
spot.
That was a dagger to the heart. So he reacts, I ain't gonna kill you, you son of a bitch, but I'll make you wish for it. Bink.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sniper Dude had it coming. I'm 100% pro Nightwing on that end. But at the very end, you find out that even with a broken femur, mission was accomplished. Well, they don't really allude to what it means because nowhere in any panel did I see anything that it actually alluded to later on.
I think they were kind of basically going for that. My kind of sense here was that the mission was to like he jokes. The guy even says you're acting a little bit more grimdark than usual, and I think that's the whole point, to like make him piss him off and make him start acting irrationally and like more grimdark.
I think it's baiting him into coming there because they know the areas that he's hunting, and best way to catch what they consider a prey is set a trap. And a couple getting harassed by a big giant robot, and we are anti-robot here. Is
very much so.
That's a good way to get Nightwing or any of the Bat family, especially in Gotham, if you're going to do it, to come there, is set it up something like that because they're going to defend the people.
Mm-hmm.
But they flash to the Magistrate HQ, Peacekeeper 01 because we can't just call him Peacekeeper. We have to have a -01 because
there's 12 of them in Gotham, and he's the leader.
Come up with 12 names. Come on.
Oh, they well, so far certain ones have been, personified. They may not have their secret identities revealed, but these are definitely individual characters.
Now, is that a ranking system?
Yeah, and I think it is. It's a ranking system, and I think they don't have names on purpose because their whole deal is anti-mask. So if they had names like Justice Reaper or something like that, that's perpetuating the same shit that they're trying to stop.
Yeah,
so 1980s pro wrestler.
Yep.
Yeah, that's my alter ego.
Yeah, and it seems, if I'm not mistaken, Peacekeeper 1, of course, is at the top. And then there's districts that are broken up in Gotham.
Mm-hmm.
and the lower the number, the closer you are to the center. So Peacekeeper 12 has to deal with the Badlands, and we saw the fate of Peacekeeper 12 didn't exactly end so well, going against Katana and the Outsiders.
Yeah, this kind of classic, video game RPG or like tabletop kind of D&D logic, where each of these different sections is controlled by a mini boss, and then you got to beat all of them, and then 01 is the big bad.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, at the HQ, Peacekeeper 1 and Captain Marks are the Mark. Jibber jabber, typical villain crap. Heroes or terrorists. Examples must be made. Their bodies have to be put on display. The only line that I found completely entertaining is the victory is mandatory, because I'm raising two of the cutest little future supervillains, and they say stuff like that all the time.
Hold on, because everybody that's listening to this is gonna want to. If for those who have not hit the back up 15-second button already, can you say that one more time? You're raising what?
Two future supervillains. Two supervillains in training. I caught
the cute ones though.
Oh, they're adorable.
See, there you go. It's fine. That's fine.
I had a buddy come over. My daughter just staring at him. I'm like, sweetie, what are you doing? Assessing his weaknesses. Don't talk like that.
You gotta keep that stuff on the inside so they don't know.
Yes.
They're in training. They're in training. It's fine.
His daughter will argue with you that Joker is the hero and Batman is the villain.
He is.
In any case,
he just wants to see Gotham smile.
We'll save that for another episode.
Yeah. I got a whole diatribe on how that is actually true, but we'll save it.
Oh my goodness.
That's a Patreon exclusive.
That will be a Patreon exclusive. Josh versus Jared and Reed, Batman versus Joker. You heard it here first. Coming soon to a Patreon near you.
We got to get like a belt made up, and then like every once in a while, a champion puts up on something, and send it back and forth between ourselves.
Challenge accepted.
All right, and then you enter the cozy getaway retreat, the bed and breakfast known as Arkham Asylum.
That's one way to put it.
It's cozy. They put up pop-up pictures. You'll love it.
There's caution tape and dented gates and everything.
Yeah, it's completely wrecked. It looks like a frat party just happened there.
Just the right number of boards on the windows.
Well, yeah, it takes decent spacing. Nightwing and Batgirl, Babs, because there's more than one. Sum up the current events in regards to the magistrate. A mention of a Batman makes Nightwing look sentimental for a moment. A quick shower scene for the ladies or some of the guys. I don't judge. Equipped with a flashback with Bruce about Dick's parents dying. The day that Dick's parents died, and Bruce Wayne's trying to console him because he's been there.
Right.
But Dick's not alone. He tries to defend himself, but you can only fight so well when in a towel. It never works out. And someone dressed as Batman stands above him. And I gotta say, immediately, I'm absolutely digging the new cowl. The new outfit, the cut, and everything like that. No lips. You don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about mask lips. They heard you. See, they're correcting it.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, guys.
Well, have no fear. The first ward of the demented pervert known as Bruce Wayne has a plan for everything 12 steps further than you even had worked out in your plan. He zaps him via voice command. So Hale 9000 ends up being able to take a victory over Batman.
Hale 9000.
He's got a plan for stuff 12 steps down the road from where you're at. Zaps him, got the new Batman tied up to a chair with quickness, and now he makes the habit of changing in the Nightwing outfit because he doesn't want to be standing there in his towel. He ends up getting the information of Sarah Dowell is being the reason why the new Batman is here. A 10-year-old girl who's snatched off the streets and sold into human trafficking. Well, the proximity alarm goes off, and Batman escapes just in the nick of time from the chair. Batman even makes a comment saying, taking you long enough. Or you did it quicker than anticipated. Well, the guy is claiming to be Batman. He needs to be good at that kind of stuff.
He said people call him Batman, but I mean, that's no defense when you dress like Batman.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Somehow, they make a mention from the first attack that Nightwing went to go defend that couple that ended up being the person with the man with augmented powers and the lady with blades. He got shot somehow. Like it'd be an off screen if it was on TV. And the bullet that he had apparently has some nano trackers on it that's better than his computers can find, or he can't get it out. It's all in his system. So he decided that he's done playing cat and mouse, and it's time for war. I gotta say, I absolutely love the story. Some small plot holes, like the gunshot, definitely, but the art was blah at best. There's some scenes there doing good, but for the most part, with better art, I would have scored it a lot higher. I'm only able to give this 6 1/4 new Batman cowls out of 10.
New Batman goes. All right. I like the scoring system you got. Reed, what's up? What did you think?
This was a tough one. This was a tough one for me. There were moments that I was really vibing with this. There were moments that I was like connecting, and then there were large portions where I was just kind of like skimming. I kept having to go back because I was like getting bored. The whole interaction with like the couple and the setup, I feel like that's like half of the book. The ending, the end and the interaction with new They Call Me Batman. That I think that's pretty great. That stuff was fun. The Arkham stuff was fun. The earlier half was, I don't know. I was a little bored. It wasn't really jumping out to me and grabbing me. But the interaction with the new Batman, I think, is great. Their chemistry is wonderful because there's a new guy and he's Batman. Like, excuse me. I'm Robin number one, bro. I was doing all that crazy stuff with big pennies and shit. Like, don't step to me. You ain't no fucking Batman.
What's up with the mask lips?
Right, yeah. See, like, why you ain't got no lips? You too afraid?
Got no lips, man. Something wrong with a Batman has lips.
I like it. I do like that new cowl.
I do too.
I think, like I said, this one's got a lot of potential, but it just doesn't. It's a great idea on paper. I like the transition to a darker Dick Grayson, and I'm excited to get there. And I hope that as with all these, I wish we would have just got here naturally in the course of the story. This one's just a comic book for me, 6 out of 10.
Oh my god. Okay, so I am way on the other end of this scale from you guys.
Thought so.
Nightwing is leading a modified Bat family, and Batman is asking to be a member. Dude, that's awesome. And
okay, that idea is awesome. They didn't execute that idea.
Well, they kind of did. They brought that in, so we'll see that.
The ending
we'll
is
see
cool.
that coming up.
But that's only like what? That's like 4 pages. Like, not even. That's like 3 pages is like the best part.
I thought that the art was phenomenal. I loved it. I thought it was perfect, not just for the story, but I mean for a Nightwing book. I thought it was great. I will agree with Reed and say that the part with the couple took too long to get through. That whole thing could have played out in a couple of pages. It didn't need to span out as long as it did. And we could have got the same effect with a little bit more beefiness behind the other parts of the story, without even adding anything to it. Just could have fleshed out some more stuff. So I'll give you that. But I'm completely into it, man. And I think I love the way that the next Batman is voiced here. Obviously, this is Jace / Tim Fox. They leaked that beforehand, before any kind of identity reveal in comic that we will be reviewing later on. I gave this an 8.5 out of 10, man. I loved it so much. It was a page turner for me. I didn't get bored at all. I was like, flip, flip, flip. It was real good concepts. I enjoyed the hell out of it. Apparently, that's not for everybody.
Well, I tell you what, this is the first time I've ever thought this. But while we've been talking about this, I'm wishing that they would have split this one and given me another Bat family member.
Okay, and
or like a Robin.
That would have been cool.
We just had Eternal Robin last week.
Well, but I mean,
Red Hood.
And we did.
But that's what this feels like. This feels like it should have been a half story, and to stretch it, they put stuff at the beginning with the magistrate stuff. I'm over the magistrate.
Yeah,
well, we'll get to that too.
I'm pro Empire. I still can't get behind the magistrate. They're playing my music. Hold on.
All right. Several years further down the road in the event timeline, we get to explore the state of Selina Kyle's future in Future State Catwoman #1. Priced at $3.99. Written by Ram V with art by Otto Schmidt, letters by Tom Napolitano, and the cover by Liam Sharp. Catwoman's story is set after the events of Dark Detective. and things look no better for Gotham. In fact, the magistrate is rounding people up on trains, concentration camp style, and taking them to reformation centers. Actively acting out against the magistrate's interest in this one is, of course, Catwoman, in a brand new magnet suit joined by her Strays army. Her new protege Cheshire Cat, who happens to be Shoes and is one of the original Strays introduced in V's regular Catwoman run, and the rest act like a more fluid version of the Bat family under Selina's direction. The plot this time? They're going to steal a train that's transporting those previously mentioned poor souls on their way to reformation. With Onomatopoeia, a character who only speaks in sounds, and he was invented by Kevin Smith, and I absolutely love this guy. He made a surprise appearance here as the first among the rescued, and then we're led to one more surprise. Bruce is also a prisoner. So Selina is running her version of what Bruce has always wanted for his adopted family, and she seems to be doing it better than he ever did. Thank goodness for that, because it looks like he needs her. This feels like a full-on hero Catwoman, or as close as Selina can get to it anyway. Catwoman, when she is written by Ram V, is a chef's kiss. Schmidt's art works well with the story, and it feels as though I'm seeing exactly what was in V's mind when he wrote this. I hope to see more from this creative team because they are some very capable hands. I want to see them create a whole lot more, take on a couple other characters. My final score for this one is a 9.25 out of 10. Reed, what did you think about Catwoman?
Yeah, this baby's a knockout. This is a real stunner. I didn't know that Ram V. I should have assumed that he was writing the Future State Catwoman, but I didn't realize that when I started flipping through. And at first, I was the order I read these kind of maybe affected my judgment a little bit. I read the Nightwing one last, and there's a couple here that are in the Magistrate verse, and I kind of got a little bit of fatigue with that. But this story here is more disconnected from that, and I don't know. There's nothing to complain about here. The art is great. The panel design, the overall layout of the pages is really exciting. It's just the kind of art I enjoy. It's very, the whole thing is action packed. We've got like all of these Catwoman, these more recent Catwomans, they all kind of play out like a heist movie. Every issue is just very kinetic. It's always moving. Stuff's always happening. I love the Strays army, and I'm a big fan of Cheshire. So this is a really exciting one for me. It's a 8.75 out of 10.
Yeah, see, I'm a big fan of Cheshire too, but it took me a second to realize this is not normal Cheshire. This isn't the ninja Cheshire. This is a whole new Cheshire cat that is Shoes, who also isn't a real name, obviously. But that's she was one of the very first, I think, what was there, like 3 or 4, maybe 5 strays that started out with Catwoman. Yeah, just barely a handful, and she was one of the original ones, and it seems as though she's become, her sidekick.
Certainly her second in command.
For sure. This whole time leading up to Future State, I've constantly been bringing up the idea of Harley Quinn leading a team of young people. And
right,
I was looking right at a gift horse, in the mouth, and completely not seeing it whatsoever. Catwoman leading the Strays. This is the Bat family done right, man, and I dig it.
Yeah.
Holy crap. I mean, that's all I can say.
It's not something that jumps out to you because Selina always kind of works alone and kind of prefers to work alone.
Right, and when she teams up, it usually doesn't work out so well.
Right, but you can always kind of see that empathy and that kind of humanizing notes in her character as the way she actually cares for like actual cats in a lot of versions of that character.
Right.
And I think the Strays is another extension of that kind of personality, and I think it works so well. Just like these like kids in her neighborhood that she's kind of taken under her wing, and basically at this point seems like started kind of a revolution.
Right.
It's great. I'm loving this design.
Jared, where were you at with Catwoman?
Okay, I absolutely love the way that it was done. There was quite a bit of dialogue bubbles anytime at the beginning, and they went away around the time that Pullman Bridge scene, but they ended up coming back. But it's also the beginning parts of the story, so they got to catch us up and let us know how the psychology of each person changes a little bit, because everyone's mentality is they attack the dialogue bubbles, do come back, but it does have great action. It seems extremely balanced. It draws the story forward. It gives you this is how Bendis needs to learn how to do this, where the dialogue buttons actually have a benefit and they don't just
or remember how. He used to be like I'm a defender. I'm a kind of a Bendis stan, but like the man, he has a style and it works in certain situations, but he kind of wields it like a hammer now.
Regardless of how you feel about the guy, even I'm obviously not a DC Bendis fan, but if you go back and read, Miles Morales, when he was at the helm there, that was really good. His writing style fit that character perfectly. That said, he hasn't really fit any character at all since taking up the helm for DC, in my opinion.
Create somebody
Reed feels differently, and everybody does, but
we'll get to that.
I love that big reveal that it's Talia. She finds Bruce inside the incubation chamber or the little vat or wherever the heck that is.
The solitary prison on the train.
Yeah, the stasis chamber or whatever.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I absolutely love the art. The flow of the story was great. Bravo to whoever came up with the storyboard and then inked it and everything. I'm gonna have to give this 7.75 cat whips out of 10. Rare.
Whip kapow.
Indeed. Onomatopoeia. And Catwoman stepping up and being a hero. Finally, I have been looking forward to this for a very long time. I thought we were heading that way. It felt like we were heading that way, and damn it, we are here. Now, let's get into the one hero that the hands themselves, the hands of creation, chose as the perfect representation of all things hero. Wonder Woman. Coming in at $5.99, Future State Immortal Wonder Woman #1 has 2 stories this week. First, the title story featuring Diana, and an equally long story featuring the return of Nubia in a brand new story, with a cover from Jen Bartel, who I cannot say that I am familiar with, but man, I hope I get a chance to be.
She's done a bunch of covers before, but this is her first, I believe, her first time helming a full issue.
Oh my goodness, wow. And
you can see why she's done covers before, because that's a great cover
work, man. The rest of the talent we will cover individually. First up is Immortal Wonder Woman, written by Becky Cloonan and Michael W. Conrad, with art again by Jen Bartel and letters by Pat Brazeau. Tell us about Diana's story, Reed.
Absolutely. We're getting a Wonder Woman story with the OG Diana Prince. Here she is. At the end of time in this one, I don't know. We start off the first tale.
It's impossibly long ago in the distant future. Impossibly long ago in the distant future.
Yeah, it's some Star Wars kind of time logic there. We start off the first story with Diana, the OG Wonder Woman, impossibly long ago in the distant future. But we're in a familiar place. So yeah, impossibly long ago, distant future, crazy stuff. Who knows what that means? I'm guessing we're at the end of time.
I'm assuming that's what it's supposed to basically hint us at. We're supposed to use common sense to say this is a place where time doesn't even matter. Exactly. Kind of outside of it.
Right. And we have, as titled, Immortal Wonder Woman. She's got a new look, which I'm digging. There's a couple of moments where there's these great poses, and you're like, oh, that's a cover. That's a cover there. And we get a couple of those moments, and Wonder Woman wanders around a corporeally empty Batcave, searching for a memento of her past to help her face her future. And what she's looking for is Batman's utility belt. And what she finds is Batman's ghost. And he gives her a little pep talk and says that all of the heroes, were willing to die to save people, but Wonder Woman is the hero that gave people a reason to live. And with that kind of Batman pep talk, she is full of confidence and courage and heads off to find to face the future. And the future, it seems, is the undoing. some sort of cosmological malevolent force that is swallowing up whole planets. And even, it seems, Apocalypse is not immune, as the Undoing undoes Apocalypse itself. And Darkseid has a great moment when he says, like, the name isn't only, like, thematic or something like that. He's like, they're his children, I guess. Are those his kids? Those like fools that are hanging out with him?
I mean, in a way, Darkseid doesn't so much. I mean, he does have actual children, but he kind of more or less steals people and makes them his kids.
It's
right, yeah. Him
well,
and
it's like
Thanos,
if they can kill other
it's
people.
old England tradition. You know, they'd swap, like when the peace was needed to be made between two different worlds. Like look at Allfather and Darkseid. They swapped children. That's how Darkseid ended up getting some people that he was conquering under one of their people under control to have him go evil, and so okay, I'll give you one of my children, and well, they're already evil.
Going forth world.
Yeah, cool stuff. But yeah, we get a couple of moments on Apocalypse, and then Apocalypse pieces out. He's like, "Hey, this Undoing sucks. I'm out. I'm gonna go to Earth and check what they're doing."
Right.
And on Earth, Wonder Woman goes to the remaining Amazons and Swamp Thing, who's there, trying to keep the Green alive. And she's trying to get everyone to leave because Earth is, for whatever reason, basically dead. But the Amazons won't leave. They're going to stick it out, and they're going to fight until the bitter end. They want to go down fighting. And they get their chance as Darkseid arrives after whooping up on Superman, and nukes them all with some eye lasers. And yeah, it looks like he arrives just ahead of the Undoing to get a little undoing done before the Undoing is done. And we'll
that's a lot of doing.
Have to wait and to see until next time if this is the end.
All right. What did you think, Jared?
Well, I think the cover was absolutely breathtaking. The way that that Wonder Woman has the belt, hang out, drawn beautifully. I have to say, honestly, the art in this issue is the best that I've seen in the Future State so far.
It's pretty darn good.
I love the fact that they gave Superman a dad bod. That just now he's the older.
Oh, he looks cool as hell. He looks cool as hell.
Bod. Thank you.
You know, I mean, you got to give
Superman
it to
Santa.
He knows going into it he's going to lose, but he does not stop. He doesn't stop when he's held up by his throat. I mean,
that
for
didn't
me,
stop him. You think for Doomsday, you think getting choke's gonna stop him? Maybe he's into that.
For me, right?
He's friends with a woman who's associated with Dominatrix, Diana. So
that's true. To me, this kind of felt like, at least the first half, it kind of felt like it was both a story about Diana at the end of time and a story about Darkseid. I was getting like dual story vibes going on here. And that Darkseid basking in the anti-life equation is a serious character. He's not one to mess with, that's for sure.
Well, I think it actually shows the power level that this Wonder Woman is on. Is the reason why her story incorporates Darkseid equally well.
It's the ultimate, as we're being told, the ultimate good versus evil. In the DC universe, you know, I mean, Darkseid has always been that. Yes, there's been the Batman who laughs and, you know, various other characters that we've seen lately, but long haul, Darkseid's always been bad guy number one, no matter what, you know, and it's fitting to see that. I wanted to see more of the Bruce Green Lantern Swamp Thing connections. I guess we'll see, hopefully, some more of that in the next one. Next up is Nubia, written by L.L. McKinney. Next up is Nubia, written by L.L. McKinney, with art by Aletha Martinez, Mark Morales, and Emilio Lopez, with Becky Carey on letters. Nubia's story begins where that of the Amazons leave off. That's right, Nubia is a rogue Amazon. The Mascara and her Amazons have withdrawn from the world, and though it's not covered in the story, we know that Diana is elsewhere. The world of man still needs a Wonder Woman, though, and rather than get drafted, Nubia stands up and takes on that role. This is a Wonder Woman who is a little rough around the edges, but that's nothing compared to her Aunt Nancy. After a battle with Grail at a museum ends with mysterious visions and an as yet unexplained force field around Nubia, the relic that caused the visions is stolen. Nubia turns to Aunt Nancy for answers, and it turns out that the relic that was stolen is one of 9 pieces of a mystical master key that essentially grants the ability to do anything. Aunt Nancy says that the 9th and final piece to be stolen is safe, and that's when Nubia is transported out of her aunt's office to somewhere unknown. I am super curious to see what happens here. Because this is a Wonder Woman that I love seeing. It's been a while since I've seen her in a real main book. There's a lot of fanfic out there that's pretty good. But it's been a long time coming. Give me more Grail. Give me a lot more Aunt Nancy.
Hell
I
yes.
only wish that the art was a little less animated and a little bit more realistically detailed. It would have blown this entire book out of the water. This would have been something you got screen caps of and framed, man. Because the stories out of there, it's just the art. It just wasn't quite there for me. Overall, I gave this one an 8.25 out of 10. Where were you guys?
I absolutely loved the art. It was phenomenal from cover to cover. It's, as I said, it's one of the best in Future State, and I have to give this. I love that version of Wonder Woman. Drawn good gives so much opening for future development. I have to say, gorgeous. I'm gonna give it 8.25 lasses of truth out of 10.
Yeah, I know that we're getting more Yara Flor. I believe Yara Flor is getting her own TV show. And of course, with that will come comic books. I hope that we get at least Nubia in print, because this is a really good character. Reed, what did you think about it?
Well, okay. So here's the thing. I'm actually, as you guys were talking, I was pulling up my review on the website to upgrade. I'm pulling an Anthony. I'm upgrading my score as we're sitting here talking about it, because I need to change it. I put on the site 7.25, but I think 8.25 is more justified. And interestingly enough, I am actually disagreeing with you guys, and I think the art is great in this book and is held back, but opposite. I really loved.
I think the art in the first part of the book, in the Diana story, was phenomenal for what that story was. I guess I was asking for better art, not better, because this was good for for the style that it was, but I was asking for a different style of art in the Nubia story. Sorry to interrupt you.
And I totally, I'm with you. I could see where you're coming from with that, certainly. But so with the first half, I thought the story has some interesting beats, and again, this is like the denouement. This is the final moments of this story, but I didn't get any of the story leading up to this. I don't know what happened to all the Amazons. I don't know what happened to the world, so my investment can be only so. You're asking a lot of your reader to fill in gaps, and I understand comic books. I don't mind reading comic books out of continuity. I'll just pick up a random issue and I can find things to like, and that doesn't bother me. I'll watch TV episodes out of order. I don't care. That's
not how I feel.
You know, that's not a.
I can.
That's not an issue. That's not an issue for me. But in this instance, you're asking me to imbue a lot, because okay, it's Wonder Woman and Superman at the end of time, and okay, that's a base investment, but it's kind of putting a lot on me. That being said, I enjoyed the art. There are a couple of moments and panels that really, really sing, but for some reason, in moments where there wasn't a lot of light, I found the art to be very flat. But in like the daylight and the sunlight, there's like flowers in the background. Those moments are beautiful.
They really are.
And the action scenes are great. I feel like Apocalypse was a little lumpy. That stuff kind of held it down for me. The second half I loved. I want more Nubia stuff. I'm into both Nubia and Yara. I think for basically the same reason, that it introduces these whole new pantheons of mythologies,
exactly,
which is something that I'm interested in generally. And we got Anansi, and we've got, the Amazons. They were, with Kuat and the moon gods and stuff like that. This is exciting. I'm pumped to see where this is all going. But yeah, good stuff. I'm looking forward to. I'm with you guys. Nubia, stand for Nubia.
All right, guys, we've got 2 titles left: the next Batman and Superman World at War, and we are going to get to them right after this break.
Stuck around.
Back in 2 and 2.
And we're back, getting straight back to the books. Our first issue is Future State, the Next Batman #2. Priced at $7.99, the book features 3 stories this week: The Next Batman Part 2 and Parts 1 of Batgirls and Gotham City Sirens. The cover was again brought to us by Ledron, and I hope I'm saying their name right because they're doing wonderful work. The rest of the talent will be introduced per story, and the first one is Future State, the Next Batman, written by John Ridley, with art by Laura Braga, Arif Brianto, and Nick Darrington, with letters by Clayton Cowles. Even though the mystery slipped via solicitation, like I mentioned earlier, from DC earlier this week, we are given confirmation that the next Batman is indeed Tim Fox, now going by Jace, as we saw in the previous issue. And Jace is a completely different Batman. He is very critical of himself. He sees his fights here as something he barely makes it through, but the people left behind on the other side of the fight kind of see things a little differently. They're confused too because they can't trace him. They know he's Batman, but Batman's not using tech. So, is it really Batman? There's a lot of doubt in the air in the Magistrate right now as far as Batman is concerned. So he's nearly invisible to the Magistrate, and that is how he is operating. He's even using random burner phones to communicate with his teammate that is so far only identified as Val, and that's pretty much all the tech that Batman puts to use. Well, that and the compression of his suit, which minimizes blood loss from gunshots, which Batman does take one of here. He's looking into a case that has a twist of its own when a whole squad from the Magistrate shows up. Jace Fox, again, formerly Tim, now Jace, and also Batman, is a refreshing take on the character. Sharing traits like design, drive, and title with the original character lets us have a little fun with this one, I think. Most things between Jace and Bruce are very different, but it's not the difference that makes this so good, at least not to me. It's the character of the new Batman. It's Jace Fox as Batman. I really like the way he's voiced here. It feels authentic, if that's not too odd or weird to say. And the art is great, the character's great, the story's great, and I am glad to hear that we will be getting more from John Ridley on the next Batman following Future State. What did you guys think of this one?
I like this guy. It's the Batman who cusses.
Right?
There's a couple of moments where Batman does a cuss, both in his head and out loud, and I think it's great. Because he rolled up on a moment and he just said, "Oh, what the fuck!" And I thought that was great.
Beautiful.
I thought that was wonderful.
It was absolutely
great. He's hanging out by the seat of his pants. It's a different take on Batman, and it's a cool direction. And I feel like this is the direction that DC was going with Batman in general by taking away all of his money and all of his tech and making him less godlike.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when Batman is interesting. It's like Spider-Man when he's just like hanging on by the seat of his pants, just doing the best he can. That's when it's compelling. That's when it's human.
Right.
And putting this new character into the driver's seat of Batman, I think, is great. The new design is cool. The lowered stakes, I think, is just what the character needs overall to kind of build back up. We need this kind of soft reset or relaunch of Batman. I'm having a great time with this next Batman.
Me too, Jared. What did you think?
Well, I see slight difference in some of the thing. I think it's same shit, different package. The new Batman's still a dick. I do love the new cowl, and I do love the fact that he pulls out the cuss words from the utility belt, something that Bruce was always a little shy of. But you go into it, there's a couple of knee chases, and the couple killed the man that they feel responsible for their daughters no longer being with them, and he's being a dick. I'm sorry in that situation. All right, you're free to go. I use the expression.
It doesn't feel like he's very okay. So I get what you're saying. He's not happy about it, and it doesn't seem like he's 100% sold on what he's going to do here. He's saying that it doesn't make you any better. We don't see what his final decision is going to be because that's when a whole army of magistrate people show up and robots and
That's the reason why I use the expression
Man,
that they
screw
blame
those robots.
They blamed their daughter no longer being with them. They said that their daughter had to be dead, but they never said that they knew for a fact. And this is DC Comics, so you know that 5 years from now they'll say, "Well, when Batman first came out, and you see this panel right here, her daughter didn't die. It turns out she's really DG health person."
Sweet. That's great. There's no problem with that. I'm cool with that. Whatever, man.
Well, it's either that or anti-hero.
That's how we get new characters.
Ooh, a second Red Hood.
There you go. You got a writer sitting in a room like, hey, we need a new title.
A female sidekick named the Purple Veil. All right. Well, then next up, we're going to take a look at Batgirls, written by Vida Ayala, with art by Aniki and Trish Mulvihill, and letters by Becca Carey. Jared, take us through Batgirls.
It opens up at the Magistrate Detention Center, which is basically a Gotham Blackgate. Cass is paraded in front of mass villains and heroes alike that are kept behind glass walls to keep them detained. Gets thrown in a cell, like a two-person pod with White Hat. Spoiler. Now it's great. They get in a little scuffle, and this bitch says, "I can multitask" when she's taking on Spoiler. That right there is confidence right there, because she knows who she is.
Right, but obviously there is some bad blood between these two.
Oh yeah.
Spoiler has gone turncoat.
Or so it seems. Allegedly.
Well, the two of them end up getting into a fight, as I said, and they get thrown into solitary confinement. But that ended up being part of the plan. Spoiler could tell that Cass was wanting to get into solitaire, so she went on a Nightwing-approved mission to break bad and try to get close to the criminals and find where Oracle, who was once Batgirl, and rescue her. And she ended up getting caught beforehand, so she's detained for being a mask. And the Bat family has a thing. Once a Batgirl, always a Batgirl. And I'm loving the art. I was loving the art so far. And then they show that Barbara is being held a couple cells below the solitary confinement cells. She looks like she's plugged into the Matrix. So I don't know if Morpheus or Neo is going to save her.
Right.
Right at the end of it, Stephanie.
Probably Trinity.
Right?
That's more
there you go.
I believe I can save him. Stephanie's wearing many titles today. Stephanie, former Robin, Spoiler, White Hat. She calls in all of her favors to the heroes, villains, everybody that she's ever, like, hey, I looked the other way when you did this. Remember that one you owe me to, Garth, Zat, everybody.
And she's obviously built a reputation in this entire time where everyone has thought that she has gone to the dark side, so to speak.
Yes.
So, I mean, she's done things. I mean, it even goes so far as to say so in the book. She's done things that she never thought she could possibly do.
Well, you got to keep up the you got to keep up the premise.
Boo! Show us it. Don't tell us.
Of course,
this is only issue 1.
Right.
Of two.
That doesn't mean the next one's not going to be full of flashbacks. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, Stephanie calls on all the favors from the heroes and the villains. They distract the guards. They start a riot, and that's where it leaves.
What did you think of Batgirls?
Yeah, no, it's got a great style. I think that's something that's what speaks most for this. I think the idea is pretty intriguing, but again, I mean, for being only a couple of pages, I felt like it was a little too long. This one didn't.
Not for you, huh? All right. Well, tell us what you thought about Gotham City Sirens then.
Gotham City Sirens. Okay. Well, yeah. There's not much to say about this one. I mean, there's a lot of panels, and there's certainly a lot of drawings, and a lot of things definitely for sure happen, but they really don't anything happen at all. None of them. This is a little diversionary tale about and featuring a couple of the Rogues Gallery, as it were. We got Catwoman, we've got Poison Ivy, and what I'm guessing to be a new character, Dee Dee. What is it? Domestic Droid?
Domestic Droid Prime, DDP, they call her at one point, which I thought was cool.
But she's told she's special.
Yeah.
Shout out to the wrestling fans out there.
Right, yes, and she is a droid that is being, kind of groomed to be different, Dee Dee. And
she has emotion,
Yes. She's programmed to try to emulate more of, humanity as opposed to just being like a kind of a robot, as it were. But apparently Poison Ivy and Catwoman have pledged to take her on a night on the town. They do some crime stuff, a little repelling, and then Selena intervenes in a magistrate beating. So we get a little action. And then also Dee Dee involves and has like some weird red ropes come out of her arm, and she said, "I did not know I had that in me."
Those, if anybody out there is playing Cyberpunk 2077, those reminded me of the mono wires that you can get. Just saying.
Oh shit,
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, dude, that's cool. That's very fun. So yeah, they have a little fight scene, and it's kind of cute. And then they go to another bar, and it's like a super villain speakeasy, and it actually you can see on the wall it says speakeasy in like Cyrillic letters, which is come on,
that was kind of
cool. Yeah. So they throw back a couple of drinks with who's that? Slam Bradley.
He is a very old pre-Batman Detective Comics character who is a very, very, very bad person. He was a hero at the time, but he was not a good one. And I mean, he was known for being a womanizer, an abuser. I mean, he was very, very anti everything. He was a product of the times. Yeah, he was a product of the times, obviously, and we've seen him make casual pop-up appearances here and there, and I think we see him here like flat out saying he wants to make amends for previous behavior.
Mm-hmm.
He reminds me of the comedian
He's a club owner now,
where he's a hero, but he's not. He doesn't have the hero mentality.
Yeah, no, yeah,
yeah. He's a bad guy that does bad guy stuff for good reasons.
There you go.
Then we have a little dance number here. We get a little flashback of them finding Dee Dee and kind of liberating her. We have a couple of other moments and a dance, and then whoops and dups the magistrates here and they shoot everybody. Shoot and slam up, and then also Selena gets hit. This one, I'm torn because I like the art style, but I wasn't in love with a lot of the character designs. Did you guys feel at all like Catwoman was designed after the Halle Berry Catwoman?
I got that feeling that barely their top. I don't know. It definitely doesn't seem Catwoman-esque. Compared to like the magnetic suit that we got in the other story or the things that we've seen her typically wear. She looks like a 90s hip hop star. That's what she's dressed like.
She looks like she's in
baggy cargo pants.
She looks like she's in Veruca Salt over here. She's got rose-colored round glasses. She's wearing a long leather sleeves with the gloves, because like the knives. But it's like a halter top, but also cut so there's cleavage as well. It looks wacky, but then combat boots and like cargo pants. What are we doing? What are we doing here, guys? What future is this?
I feel like she's about to break out and do some Aaliyah songs on karaoke, maybe.
I was thinking when she does a superhero
Well, she got
pose,
shot, so we'll never know.
Pose and start playing Pour Some Sugar on Me.
Yeah, I mean, besides all that, I still enjoyed it. I thought that was a bad design. Poison Ivy, I thought looked cool.
What did you think of this and everything else all wrapped up together?
Hey.
The whole shebang.
Yeah, the whole shebang.
I don't know. This one was kind of a miss for me overall. Out of all of these, come omnibus ones, the three. Out of all of the ones that have 3 issues in it, like this one seems the weakest to me. Normally at least one of the stories is like woo, but none of them really hit for me. This is not really even a comic book for me. It's 5.5.
5.5.
Yeah, I wasn't
even
sold.
A comic book that.
Well, I mean it is, but it's not for sure.
Yeah, you know what you mean. Jared, where were you at with Gotham City Sirens and the book as a whole?
The art it felt like it got lazy. There's a couple different times where Ivy's eyebrows and Dee Dee's eyes and Ivy's eyes got drawn over her hair. I know it's supposed to symbolize, well, you can see their eye through their hair. Well, no, you see through the strands of the hair. You don't see it through it. They're not incandescent.
There's a couple of eyebrows over there's some eyebrows that you can see through the hair too. I get it.
It's like bat lips. Come on.
Okay, so maybe they put those bangs there and hairsprayed the living daylights out of it, and then drew with eyeliner the missing parts.
I went out of the utility belt. Come on now.
I refuse.
It's comic books, guys. Anything is possible.
I mean, yeah, whatever.
What did you give it, Jared? The whole thing as a whole.
I was really digging the art up until the siren story. And that was just complete garbage to me. Overall,
Ouch.
between the next Batman, Batgirls, and Sirens, I'm gonna have to say they moved the story along nicely throughout. I'm gonna have to give it 7.5 spoiler favors cashed in out of 10.
Well, for me, man, the next Batman and Batgirls were both spectacular stories. I loved both of them. Spoiler, playing a double agent is not out of character for her. Spoiler, doing whatever is necessary, no matter what the cost. That is all Spoiler. And of course, Cassie trying to kick her ass the moment she sees them because of betrayal. That is total Cass. I love the Batgirls. I love how they were put there. The next Batman I thought was great. The Sirens, they were good. The art was okay. The story was okay. Not necessary, not needed. And I feel like we could have got more story out of the other two if we would have just dropped this. Catwoman is in is in another story already. We don't need that. And Poison Ivy either doesn't need to be in a book or should have appeared in a different story, because this just ultimately wasn't needed. So it kind of dragged it down for me, but not too much. The general direction of everything and the way they've woven this web within Gotham has me so intrigued that I'm pretty much all in. And even with the encroaching magistrate fatigue, I'm cool with it. The art is done well, stylized and tailored individually to each story. I was impressed overall. 8.25 out of 10. It seems as though it's a whole new world in Gotham, though it hasn't left the planet. We are, though, leaving the planet, that is, as we get into the final book of the episode, Future State Superman Worlds at War #1, with a price of $7.99 and a beautiful cover from Mikkel Janin. The other talents will be listed individually. This issue has 4 stories inside: The Many Lives of Clark Kent Part 1, Mr. Miracle Part 3, Midnighter Part 1, and The Black Racer. And just for clarification, I did not list the Mr. Miracle story incorrectly. This is Part 3. We get Part 2 next week. Don't ask me why.
Comic books!
Why? No, I need to know why.
I wish I could tell you, man.
Because comic
First up, we have
Okay.
The Many Lives of Clark Kent, written by Philip Kennedy Johnson, with art by Mikkel Janin and Jordi Belair, and letters from Dave Sharp. Jared's going to talk to us about The Many Lives of Clark Kent.
I absolutely love the character going into the thing, but after the attack of the giant dialogue boxes, the story opens up on a young African-American woman walking down the street, getting peddled a whole bunch of crap. Everyone's seemingly revering Superman as the Messiah, but the young woman isn't interested in any of it. She continues to go on through the city, and she ends up to go down to where a cornfield that kind of reminded me, it had a very Smallville-esque vibe to it, where they have a monument erected for Superman, but they recognize him as Clark Kent on it. The people that are at the monument end up are gathered there sharing tales of how Superman or the Man of Steel, Man of Tomorrow, dang, he's got a lot of nicknames, saved their lives
Yes, he does.
individually. And not just saving the world as a whole through different events, but how they, he saved me out of all the people that are there. He saved me from this oncoming monster. He saved me from this this bomb going, when I say hero worship. And then a hippie speculates that he's dead. They talk about, well, he's got to be dead because look what John did bottling up Metropolis. He did nothing to stop it. That's proof that Superman has to be dead. He didn't stop his son from doing what supposedly, happened to one of the cities where he's from.
Or what, Brainiac has tried to do on Superman's watch plenty of times.
Yes. And they start bringing up bad Kryptonians, and just because we think that Kara and Clark are good people doesn't mean all Kryptonians are good, which is a valid point, which my man, Mr. Luthor, always wants to say.
Yeah, guys. Not just a Joker fan, but also a Lex Luthor advocate as well.
It's not an advocate. I'm acknowledging the fact that he's the greatest humanitarian of our day and age.
It's a good character. Good
Hell
character.
yeah.
You guys, all right.
I'm a fan of villains. I'm always disappointed at the point in the movie where it's like feudal and the villain is like losing. I'm like, come on, just let
I
them
would
I'm
lose.
love to
telling
be
you
able to
guys,
see.
we are totally going to have a Patreon episode soon about this.
I definitely would enjoy seeing Luther finally becoming a villain. It'd be great. First time in history. Well, the young lady stands up and asks, "Where's everyone's hope?" Because everyone's now has the mindset of, well, he's dead. They just seem to have given up hope. So she asks, and she starts walking away. And then someone says, "Wait, when and how does Superman save you?" And her response, stuck to the heart, she says, "He didn't. Clark Kent did." The section ends with Superman fighting on Warworld, dressed in a Xena the Warrior Princess type outfit.
He's
Like the
he's
Gimp.
got some chains and
tight.
some
He's the
underwear
Gimp
on.
from
That's
Pulp
about
Fiction, man.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
No, look at that. He's got chains. He's got a metal emblem. He's got bare chested, but he's got out of metal a piece of armor that looks like his emblem with nothing on it. It's dope as hell.
Strapped the how do you say that? He has strapped the symbol of the House of L to his chest and put a cape on. It might not be his normal stuff, but it's he's there full Hercules style, underwear and boots.
Yeah, like a Trojan kind of not Trojan,
Super gladiator.
like a Spartan.
Are you
kinda
not
like, with a red cape.
entertained?
It's dope. It's dope as hell. It gave me real Planet
Yes.
Hulk vibes.
Oh yeah, for sure. I totally see that. I didn't click when I read it, but yeah, with you saying that, I see that 100%.
the only thing missing is the Trojan helmet. But throughout this section of the Superman Omniverse book there wasn't a lot of action. There were some flashbacks, which it had some great art in it, but it was all irrelevant stuff because it was stuff that was in the past. It had some really hokey dialogue, like you would expect on like a Adam West era Batman. Not that I didn't find that. I love Cesar Romero. He did a great job on the Adam West Batman, but the dialogue just seems extremely dated now. There was art that carried it along, but the only thing that was forcing the page turn was me grabbing the page with my hand and flipping it. There was no story that was really driving it. I'm hoping we get more, but I seriously doubt it.
I think there was something to that. Reed, what did you think?
I really love the kind of that Planet Hulk kind of vibe. I would love to see more of that where he ended up. I kind of don't care about the stuff with the kid. That didn't really click with me at all. And hearing stories, I want to see some stuff. And when I saw Superman with the sword and him like getting beat up and stuff, so this is kind of a sleeper until the last couple of pages. But I am interested to see where it goes.
Yeah, and I'm right there with you. Starting with what Jared said and ending with you, it seems like the majority of this issue is all scene setting. Unfortunately, I always feel like scene setting as far as the character goes. With Superman, we already know who this cat is, man. Everybody knows who Superman is. We don't need 8 pages or however many pages dedicated to, Superman's a hero, guys. He does awesome stuff.
I want to see his ideals when he's not invulnerable. Like, does he hold up to that? How does he live up to that when he can't just stand in front and block the bullets? Like, that's interesting. You've got an interesting concept. Show it to us, please.
Here's the thing. We see Superman obviously trapped as a gladiator. Superman, although it might not be fully, must be depowered at least somewhat here in order to be captured and controlled on Warworld. Has to be.
I think he voluntarily went there to defend Earth as a representative for our area.
It's,
conspiracy theory.
Yeah,
possibly. I feel like there was a whole lot of scene setting, and that was kind of unnecessary. Obviously, Superman's been gone for a while, but he's a superhero. The question is he going to continue being the same kind of Superman after we see him in the next issue?
That's the rumor around Kandor.
Brutal kind of Superman, or who are we gonna get when all of the chips are down and he's just a normal guy, especially on Warworld? That's kind of an interesting question to ask because we've never seen anything like that before. Next up is Mr. Miracle, written by Brandon Easton with art by Valentine Delandro and Marisa Louise, and once again Dave Sharp on lettering. Like I mentioned before, Mr. Miracle is unfortunately being released out of order, so the story may be filled in later. Part 2 to the arc comes out next week. Hopefully, that will fill in some holes here. But we start out with some commentary about heroes coming back to life, and there's a reason for that. It's because that's what just happened to Shiloh. He's been reincarnated again, and Mother Box is still with him. He's been sent after a signal, but they don't know where they are at first. It doesn't take long for him to figure out that he is on Warworld, and after a brief conversation with Midnighter, he realizes it's been a long time since he's been alive. He himself wants to send a message and help those trapped on Warworld, those including Superman, but as Shiloh goes to leave, he sees that the place is surrounded by an incalculable number of warships. I like the story a whole lot more with this Mr. Miracle. It was a lot better than the last one that we got. The last one that we got, nothing really happened in it whatsoever, except for Mr. Miracle getting his ass kicked. And apparently, at some point in between then and this issue, he dies because he comes back to life at the beginning of this one, and quite a bit of time has passed. I guess we'll find out what happens. The art, it was great the first time I saw it because it brought back a lot of nostalgic feelings, but it's kind of worn off for me now. It's stale. It's not pulling them, and I feel as though it just doesn't have a place in modern comics. We're looking at something that just kind of felt a little lazy. I would hope for better for such a phenomenal character, actually. What did you guys think of it?
I absolutely love Mr. Miracle, in theory.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of all the iterations, all the different people behind the mask. I've loved all of them. Shiloh Norman is actually my favorite. I love the way that he acts. Scott Free is a great character. He's got a lot going on, man. You can't read his books without feeling like it's like you're watching a drama movie. His shit is sad. Shiloh Norman is enjoyable.
Well, it's got some nice story development. As you said, the art was good for a 1940s serial out of the back of newspaper during the Great War and everything. But the 10 pages that they had were just about 10 pages too many. They could have skipped this one entirely. If they want to make it a miracle.
Wait a minute.
Right? If they wanted to really make Mr. Miracle a miracle, tell him to enter in the Men in Black thing. They had a little flashing memory eraser, the neuralizer, and
don't hit me with the flashy thing, Kay.
And remove this from my reading memory. This is just.
It was that bad, huh?
It wasn't bad. It wasn't good. It wasn't anything. 10 pages of dribble.
Yeah, it's nothing. It's nothing. That's the main problem here. This is just filler. I don't hate the art style. It's fine, because it's fine. I mean, and it's interesting in its way. But like you said, the first issue or the first story was neat to see, but then it never really developed into anything.
And then with the addition of it being released out of order, it falls apart.
Yeah, there's not enough here. It's like you're baking a cookie and you forgot one ingredient. There's something missing. It just doesn't click. So it just kind of falls flat.
Well, coming out of a cameo from this story, we're going to get into the next one. Midnighter showed up real quick, and that's who we're focusing on next. Written by Becky Cloonan and Michael W. Conrad, with art from Gleb Melnihoff and Jordi Belair, and letters from Travis Lanham. What's going on and happening with Midnighter, Reed?
All right, so Midnighter. Okay, so now if you're not familiar with Midnighter is kind of like a multi-universal different version of Batman, except he's got no ears, he's got red eyes, and he likes to shoot laser guns at people. Oh, he's also got a computer in his brain.
He is one of the characters, also along with Grifter, who we saw show up last week and in previous issues, that came from Wildstorm. Him.
Yeah, they wear dusters there. It's pretty dope. It's pretty dope over there. Very cool.
Flashpoint
lots of guns.
Batman without the ears. But that's the way he's drawn.
Yeah,
he's
okay, there you go.
Flashpoint Batman, but
he's a little bit. He's a violent Batman with a supercomputer implanted in his brain.
He got them red eyes, so you know he's a anti-hero.
Crowley.
So he's doing some anti-hero bullshit, and then he finds a message, and it's instructing him to go to this station to do some business. The message is kind of corrupted, so he gets a lot of buzz, 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 and dropped words here and there. but it says, so he decides to go because the alternative is all life in the universe being extinguished. And the last thing the message said is we've got to look before leap kind of guy here with Midnighter, and he opens a portal and rushes headlong into the fray. And the last thing the message says is don't teleport in there, or something along those lines. So it says don't do the thing you're about to do, and he's already done doing the thing before the message
Midnighter
finishes.
kind of has his own version of a boom tube type thing, and he's not supposed to use it, but he jumps, like Reed said, a little too quickly.
He's a teleporter.
There you go. Well, I mean, if you got teleported, you don't wait for no fucking business. Because I mean, I imagine that just gets to your head if you can just teleport. Like that messes up your brain. You don't think like regular people.
No, it's not like if you're the Flash, if you're Barry Allen, and Iris looks over at you and says,
"Right,
geez, I really wish I had some French food." You could run to Paris and back in like a minute
if you stop.
Okay, that's the thing Here's the thing that bugs me about Flash all the time. So like, I get. So it's like the Speed Force makes it so he doesn't get tired, right? Is that the whole thing?
The insane amount of food that he eats.
It's the calories.
We haven't seen that displayed recently. He does have an incredibly high amount of food intake. Something like near 100 hamburgers a day.
Yeah, he crashes hard when he doesn't end up having it. He'll push his body to the limit, and like he goes down for the count. They did a great illustration of that on the TV series before it turned to crap. I
see. Yeah, I always wondered about that because I always thought it'd be better because so like my dude can run to France and it would only take him like a second because he's so fast, right? But like he's still crossing that distance. That's the whole Atlantic Ocean. My dude should be like wiped out. He would die. His heart would explode.
Comic books, bro.
Anyhow.
He'd have to eat 100 hamburgers.
Yeah, right. We're doing comic book
to
stuff.
France and grab some snails. I get it, but he's doing it for Iris.
There you go. He can eat them very quickly. So anyhow, Midnighter, he teleports. He does a comic book thing. He warps into this space station looking for this MacGuffin, the Celestial, whatever. Okay, whatever. So he gets in there. The look of this book this part is so cool. It's very like, I don't know how to say this. It's like very early 90s. Everything is like scratchy and dark, and there's like these weird Cybermen that are the guards, and then he kills them, and then they come back as weirder Cybermen.
They're not Cybermen; those are RoboCop ripoffs.
It's very reminiscent of the Wildstorm type illustrations that we got when those characters were so popular when they came out. And I'm stoked to see them back.
It's kind of like also for me, I'm more of I was more of a Marvel guy during that era, so it's really given me like X-Force Cable kind of Stripe looking vibes.
For sure. Those
so he's sneaking around. His supercomputer is directing him towards this core or whatever it is, the MacGuffin, and he climbs in a vent, and they do a little Die Hard reference, which I thought was pretty nice. Thank you very much. It's these little dialogue boxes that are pretty fun. He gets into another room. There's more goons. There's evil scientists. The action is like kinetic. It's fun. There's like tubes. There's robot guys with machine guns on their tummies. And he does all this stuff. And at the very end, he gets to the end basically, and there is a Superman variant there standing in his way. Is this Apollo, Josh?
Yes, it is.
There we go. Okay, yeah,
that is Apollo. That is Midnighter's husband. I don't see that they're exactly on the same side now. Looks like Apollo is on the bad guy's side, or at least that's the way things look. Because Apollo is like Superman, but his stuff is a bit more science-based as far as his powers and weaknesses go, and he's a lot more in control of them. He could wipe the floor with Superman.
Just before he's introduced, if you take a look at the artwork there, mysteriously, he's getting chased through the caves by, it looks like Darkseid with a machine gun cock. It's a pair of them.
What?
Yeah,
that's provocative positioning for that gun.
I said they were on their tummies. No, I said, I know. Jared, I was trying to avoid the obvious huge phallic Gatling reference here, but I mean, if we're in it now, it's a robo-phallus, and it's a giant
got
Gatling
6 of them,
robo-phallus. Is what it is. It's what it is. It's a lot of barrels. They're shooting. It's
multitasker.
It's steaming hot lead coming out of these boys.
Neutralized.
We're in it. We're in it now, boys. Here we are.
That's where we're at.
But yeah, I mean, that's on the aesthetic with the Midnighter vibe. I really love this aesthetic. Awesome. The tone I think is great. It's kind of got like Deadpool kind of meta vibes going on here, and it's kind of fun. It's really playful. Midnighter's a cool character. He's got a duster. I'm interested in this. Give me some more of this, guys. Make me a series, please.
When you get a chance, dig back into the library and find some, of your local comic book shop, and find some old Wildstorm stories with Midnighter and Apollo in it, because it is good stuff.
Any of the stories that you were able to find doesn't have to just be Midnight and Apollo, but any of the stories are really well written. Yeah,
the Wildstorm stuff was good. Jared, what did you think?
Like I said, it's got the cyborg RoboCop ripoffs. It's got the dark side with the chain gun phalluses.
I got more of a Resident Evil cyborg kind of vibe from it.
Well, the one scene before he finds the MacGuffin, when the cyborg ripoffs come back and they look scarier. They look like a mix between Metallo and Bane, except for obviously no green. But they just, I don't know.
All top jaws on these.
No bottom jaw. Can't chew. And they got red tubes coming out of it. That's the reason why I was thinking Bane. But they just think, just make it look like they're half melted. That's scary.
Right.
I don't know. I love the character Midnight. I believe that Josh discussed that he's one of the first openly gay superheroes.
Yep. Yes, he was.
And they didn't. I love the fact they didn't shy away from him. They made him a badass.
Yeah, they didn't try to stereotype him.
For this day and age, if they were to create him, they definitely would have. But think about when they first wrote him, it was almost unheard of to have him come out and be a badass. So
it was great writing and great representation here for sure.
The art,
it's cool. It's cool, dude. It's chill as hell.
Yeah, not chill.
Chill.
Maybe Joe Chill.
He's got like a robot friend. That's fun.
Yeah, absolutely. All that works out.
Speaking of not being chill, we have another character up next that is known for not being chill, and that is the Black Racer, written by Jeremy Adams with art by Siva Olm and Hi-Fi and letters by Gabriella Downey. We're given a brand new Black Racer though, so we don't know a lot about her. She is one that tells us that she shouldn't even have these powers, so I'm very curious as to how she got them. The original Black Racer is, of course, one of the new gods that we mentioned earlier from the Fourth World and Jack Kirby's New Gods, up there with Darkseid and Highfather. One of her powers, obviously, is instant reincarnation. She's able to come back to life real quick, no matter what. Accompanied by her off-screen companions, Tala and Deez. Honda, the name of the new Black Racer, is in the middle of a race that could qualify her to make it to a championship game at Warworld on purpose. As it turns out, that's where her friends are, though. And the Black Racer is doing whatever she must to make it there. After achieving her goal and making it to Warworld, setting free a bunch of prisoners as well, she's at the business end of a bunch of guns as the issue closes. We get a brand new character with very little to go on, but I thought it was still a fun read. I wasn't drawn in by the character, but that's because of how little detail. We're so caught up in the action, we don't really get a lot of time to flesh out anything else. That's not what's made me stick around. The content did, the action, the story, and I am looking forward to more. What did you guys think of this one and Everything for All, Jared, with Superman Worlds at War #1 and Black Racer?
Well, Black Racer, once again, it's the attack of the dialogue boxes everywhere, and I get that when we start out introducing people. But it distracts from the just slightly above average art. It's not great, but it's better than usual. There's one thing that I would like to have seen in the story, and that is, a story. I get that they're building it up, but they could have. I know Black Racer's awfully fast. They could have slowed down and done a better job on the art, or at least some details. more details on it.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. It was good. I thought it matched the vibe of everything. It would have worked really well as a cartoon. Whoever's drawing this, if they were interested in cartoon stuff, this would have been fantastic.
Definitely. But it's not a cartoon, it's a comic book. And with, I don't know, I'd like to see a little more detail, like the faces when she takes the collars off of all the people.
I have a feeling Reed liked the art in this one.
I don't doubt it. But Black Racer sped into a disappointment for me. And
I don't.
Did you guys get Tron vibes from her suit?
Get out of here with that.
Yeah, Tron. I got Tron 2
Tron vibes.
Tron 2.0 vibes. He said, "Get out of here with that."
I'm gonna have to give Superman Worlds at War 6.75. Would have been more if Mr. Merkel wasn't there, and they were doing a little bit better job with Black Racer. That would have bumped up at least 2 more points. But with everything, 6.75. Gimp dressed Superman's out of 10.
Gimp dressed Superman out of 10.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had a straight Pulp Fiction vibe the first time I saw it.
Straight up. All right, Reed, what did you think of Worlds of War?
Yeah, I okay. Well, specifically, I was into Black Racer, especially because they started off with all kind of crazy characters. We've got some real kind of like spacey, weird stuff going on. There's all kind of anthropomorphized creatures, cool looking aliens. There's some like pod racing stuff going on. It's a lot. And it's kind of popcorn movie comics, but I totally dig it. It's got a cool vibe. I thought the art was pretty chill, and I like those little animal men in the beginning. Overall, I thought the book was the Midnighter stuff is right up my fucking alley. They've got tubes, they've got cybernetics. He's got Batman vibes, but like
with
in
the
a duster.
Supercomputer.
It's very cool.
Brain.
It's a Moon Knight in black.
Come on, it's cool. It's dope as hell. Gladiator Superman, give me more of that. Give me less of that like mythology bullshit. Just give me some Superman and Gladiator stuff. Overall, I thought a lot of the art was good, but this one got too much filler in it. Again, too much filler for me to allow it a high score. I can only give this one I'll give it a 7 point. Okay, because I bumped Wonder Woman, so I'll give this one a 7 even. 7 even.
All right. Okay. Fair enough. Okay, so Mr. Miracle aside, I thought the art was amazing throughout the entire issue. The whole Superman comic, the whole Clark Kent comic, I thought was amazing. Mika Lianen is one of my favorite artists, and where it felt like it was dragging on a little too long, even with that, the damn pages were so nice to look at. The only person that I can say that I love drawing Superman more is Ivan Reyes, and Mika Lianen he's blowing it out of the park here. It was just so gorgeous to look at. I would take any of these framed on my wall. Any of them. Again, that's Mr. Miracle aside. Midnighter was awesome with the art. I thought Black Racer could have been, more detailed. I'm more of a fan of that, but the art matched the story and the tone. I liked it overall, man. I gave this one an 8 out of 10. And now it is time. I'm getting crazy looks from Jared for that score.
That's disbelief right there. So art and storyline can't wait carry so far. All right.
It was art and storyline carry quite a bit when they're done right. Even if it's stretched out, if it's
not
nice
done right,
to look
it's
at
above
it and
average.
it can pull you in. I love that. Above average is good enough for an 8 score for me in this case. Mr. Miracle.
What did you guys think out there? Hit us up on Twitter. Let us know.
I probably would have given this a 9 out of 10 if Mr. Miracle was up to snuff.
If Mr. Miracle wasn't in it, mine would have been easily at least a 7.5, 7 3/4. But that was utterly pointless. There was no art, no storyline. That distract.
I mean, honestly, just for $8, just to have that. I mean, give me that for 6.
Give me that for $3.99. Leave the story in because that's $3.99, and give me a coupon for the next issue.
If anybody wants to buy me this cover and that it's signed by Mikliana, would be amazing. I would totally go down for it.
You're pandering.
It's like,
You're pandering
I'll
on
take
us.
it.
Using your position like that. Get out of here.
Oh man, I will share pictures
both outta
all
here.
over social media.
Let's wrap it up.
All
Let's
right,
wrap
all
it
right.
up.
Wrapping
baby.
it up, we will do and move on to your favorite part of the show, which is where we tell you our favorite parts of the week. All right, that's our top 3 books of the week and our favorite panel / moment. Who wants to start us out this week?
I'll take this one. Okay, so we got our top 3 and our number 1. All right, let me look at the list. There's a lot of. I wish. You know what? No, scoop it. I'm doing my own. I'm going off script on this one, baby. I'm not gonna rate each individual issue because here I'm on stories now. I'm doing the individual little bitty boys. So starting out with that in mind, I'm gonna go ahead and say number 3 is Midnighter. So I'm gonna put the Midnighter story as my number 3. The art is right on point for me. That story is just K Magnifique. I love that a lot. Number 2 for me is solidly the Nubia portion of Immortal Wonder Woman. I love Nubia. I want to get into more of her, the Pantheon, Aunt Nancy, and that Minotaur guy. Come on, that club is dope as hell. I want to get more into that and find out more of what's going on there. And I think I got to go number 1 for me is Catwoman. I mean, the vibe and the aesthetic of that book is just so cool. I love the army. I love, Ram V's writing Catwoman. Come on. That's number 1, baby. My favorite moment though does come from my number 2 pick in Immortal Wonder Woman, the full splash page of Nubia saying, "I am Wonder Woman." Wow. That's a page there. Like her hair is 3/4 of it. And it's oh man, wow. That's a page that's my favorite moment for sure. With an honorable mention,
That's funny because I was going to do honorable mentions too. That's hilarious. I can't help it.
My honorable mention for best moment is there's a really good, and I thought about this while we were going through, and as I was reading it, and I thought to myself this exact thought. That's a really good dick butt. So there's a really funny little butt in the Nightwing, right after he gets changed, I think, or he's investigating. I don't know. It's a little cute little dick butt.
That is actually, I mentioned when we reviewed that issue that Nicholas Scott is a fan favorite artist. It's because she's famous for drawing Dick Grayson's butt.
Baby got back.
Well. She is the artist responsible for starting the Dick Grayson ass fanatic.
The hashtag Dick butt.
Scott. Hashtag Dick butt.
I'm pretty sure that might pull up
seeing
other
that
things.
shit now. Can't do it.
That's a different thing. There's a kind of a meme creation that is dick butt, but this is a different
totally
dick butt.
DC Dick butt.
Put it hashtag
Nightwing
DC Dick butt. Dick butt.
No, that's a football player. No,
butt
that's
wing.
Butt kiss. All right, Jared. Well, where were you at with your top 3 and favorite panel / moment of the week?
For my top 3, I'm going to have to choose with my boy, the badass Billy Batson with Future State Shazam. The story was going on. There's a lot of open leeway, and I love to see how they're developing Shazam without Billy's innocence in him, and how much it ends up being of the crux. Because what else is kept at the Rock Fraternity? The 7 deadly sins.
That's true.
Without Billy's innocence, is Shazam, in the forms of all those God's powers being inside him, able to? The potential is amazing. I'm really deeply looking forward to it. For number 2, I'm gonna have to go Catwoman. Okay, with the art on Catwoman, Otto Schmidt, you are the shit, because it was phenomenal. The art made me want the art alone. The storyline was maybe wanted to progress, but the art alone it kept me flipping pages. I needed to have like 30 or 40 more pages because I didn't want to stop reading it. It was great. My number 1 pick is the Immortal Wonder Woman. It was phenomenal. The art on both sides of the story was great, and I have to agree with Reed. It also hosts my panel of the week. Manobia's looking fierce as all hell, claiming that she's Wonder Woman. But I do disagree. That is not a panel. That's not a page. That is a poster that needs to be put up and have some autograph. That is, you blow that, you blow that up. That is phenomenal done. She looks fierce.
It's great. It's great. Hell yeah.
I can't agree with you guys more. That is a phenomenal scene. And since y'all chose that one, I'm going to vary a little bit on my favorite panel. But before I get there, let me get my top three. And those are coming in at number 3. I'm going to have to put Future State The Next Batman, number 2. I gave that an 8.5 on the site, and I agree with that rating. I liked every story that was in it. I felt like the last one was lacking a little bit, but not enough to knock it out of the top spot. Honorable mention here, though, I have to give equal to, and this is going to spoil maybe a little bit, my 2 and number 1, but honorable mention is going to go to the Immortal Wonder Woman number 1, because Nubia was amazing, and I loved what happened with Diana. I also want to give honorable mention to the Midnighter story, because I love Midnighter and Apollo together as a team, and to see them potentially at opposite ends of a fight is really cool to me, because
domestic violence.
I mean, it's the most badass Batman versus the most badass Superman, and seeing where things go, man, it's awesome. So those get honorable mention. Number 3 is The Next Batman. Number 2, I'm going to give to Nightwing. I gave that a 9 out of 10 on the site, and it was awesome. I had fun with the whole thing, man. I know you guys were not big fans, but I certainly was. Number 1, there's no issue that could have taken this place, in my opinion, other than Catwoman. 9.25 on the site. There was nothing wrong with this issue. If I wasn't so stingy with 10s, I probably would have thrown this out. Very, very little tiny things. It was near perfection, and I really, really need this creative team to stick together and bring me more. Now, my favorite moment was when Batman and Nightwing met for the first time. Nightwing getting the jump on him. He's in nothing but a towel, and he ends up on his back, but he's got backup, because that's what he does. He's Nightwing, and he's no junk. So that was pretty awesome.
That scene reminded me in Training Day. You're thinking 2 moves ahead. I'm thinking 24. This is chess. This ain't checkers.
Ain't that right? I heard that. Now, I honestly, guys, I didn't want to do this part this week. But just like I had to say last week, someone has to step into the shoes and fill the breeze, so to speak. Now it is time for the biggest thinker.
Oh, that's nasty.
All right, Reed, who made your stink list today?
All right, I'm breaking form yet again on this one.
Ooh.
And I'm going to single out a single story out of all of them, because some of the books are better than others. I think overall stinker will probably be Next Batman for me, but the single most stinky story was Mr. Miracle, far and away. I didn't like it. I was bored.
Okay, Jared, and who made your stink list?
On my stink list, it is the part on the art as in Sirens. Poison Ivy, the eye and the eyebrows going above the bangs so you can see through them.
That just really got to you, didn't it?
They could have.
It's weird for sure. I didn't notice it. Now
exactly. It distracted me from the rest of the damn story. I wish it was printed on softer paper. I would have used it to wipe my ass. It was complete utter garbage.
That's an expensive ass toilet paper.
It true.
That's now
exactly
talk about
right.
a stinker.
Stink nugget. All right, man. Well, I thought somebody's got to lose. Pretty much everybody got great scores for me this week. Once again, in Future State. But at the end of this week, I found this book to be, I suppose, the least impressive, and that was Shazam. I only gave it a 7.75, but that was the lowest scoring book that I had this week. And that means Shazam made my stink list. And that's the show. Tune in next week when we'll be talking about Dark Detective #2 and the first future state issues of Batman, Superman, Suicide Squad, Legion of Superheroes, and Superman vs. Imperious Lex. As always, you amazing humans out there, thank you so very much for listening. You're the reason why we do this. Visit campsite.bio /notarobot to hear all of our episodes on nearly any podcast platform, and patreon.com /notarobotpodcasts for all of our exclusive content just for our patrons that they get for just $1 a month. notarobotpodcast.com takes you everywhere you need to go for everything Not a Robot. And with that, there's only one way we say goodbye around here.
Until next time.
Be good to each other.
And don't be a robot.